Oh, the world is a wild, wild place. I have been debating most of the day on Twitter. I still call it Twitter instead of X. Wow, that place is toxic. But hey, if I'm going to potentially if I'm going to potentially going to start getting paid, helps if I could speak properly on that platform, that'd be great. Not too late this time. I didn't forget that there was a show. Am I mistaken that there was no wrestling last year, that they just did a recap? There was no Raw or SmackDown in the last week of December. But anyhow, as always, I'm going to have a little link here on top of the two that I normally have. This is just to nodq.com to talk about the whole thing with how long Raw is going to be and all that, and why I'm obsessed with wondering why it's so hidden, like why we just don't know the information, how Dave Meltzer apparently just happens to know everything is just very interesting. That he could know something that Triple H doesn't know or just doesn't want to share with us for whatever reason. Video recap, as always. If you're here again, you probably already know the results anyways. It's just for the very few people that do like, for some weird reason, helps if I can pull this up here, that like to hear my input on stuff. It's not just about the results. It's actually more predominantly, if anything, what I think on certain things. So, started off the show actually with Nick Aldis that was telling Kevin Owens to return the Winged Eagle Championship. And it's funny that we used the word Winged Eagle. I mean, what other kind of eagle is there? They're all winged. 6-woman tag match. Bayley, Bianca, and Naomi defeated Tiffy, Candice, and Nia Jax. Again, Jax was talking, stating that Bianca's probably the one who attacked Jade. Michael Cole then states during the segment here that it is official. Next week's SmackDown in January, it's going to be a 3-hour show. And again, to go back to the Raw thing, it's supposed to be 3 hours, but I'm going to read that thing more at the end because there's an interesting little snippet that Dave Meltzer said. Again, during the match here, it's very apparent that Naomi is just amazing. Like that Hurricane thing, like where she did the hand stand on the bottom rope, like that to me was just wild. And coincidentally, or ironically rather, yesterday I read a whole thread about how supposedly Naomi's just underrated. She sucks. She can't wrestle. And I'm like, you're allowed to think that, but you're wrong. She is definitely an above average wrestler. There's no two ways about it. Some people want to throw the word racist in, which I don't agree with. That could potentially be part of it. That's just not my go-to. Every time someone says they don't like somebody, they happen to be black, I don't always just go racist. You can just happen not to enjoy somebody. Plain and simple. Right? So this was pretty good. Tiffy tried to cash in, but Candice wouldn't let her. That whole trash talk again, making fun of Tiffany Stratton. It just makes no sense to me. Like I said, every past couple of weeks that this has been going on, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I have to admit, now I am invested in the mini storyline here of who attacked Jade. Again, rumors that she's going to be back next week. And potentially she knows who attacked her. I don't know if it's Bayley. Wouldn't that be something if it was Bianca, if it really was Bianca? Naomi would be too obvious. Well, just because everybody's like, oh yeah, it's Naomi because she just snuck in. Now she's co-holders of the tag titles, keeping it warm for Jade to come back. I got to admit, I'm really curious at the whole, like, oh, who is it? Who is it? And I have a feeling that it probably wasn't Nia because that would just be too, like, cliche, I suppose. If it was someone like Bianca. That would be like, oh, shit. You know, like you wouldn't see that coming kind of thing. So, yeah. So I'm very intrigued to see next week if we're going to have some more information on that. Braun Strowman versus Austin Theory. Man, Theory's a strong little bastard, isn't he? Nice match again, but it felt kind of almost like a squash match. Not quite. I'm just saying, like, even she was like, that's Jessica. Carr, right? If I'm not mistaken. I'm not too good with names, which is why sometimes I go, nobody's going to notice if I look at the names here. Because one's Tamatonga, the other one's Tongaloa. Like one person's last name is the other person's fucking first name. You can't tell me that shit don't get confusing sometimes. But yeah, I like to see Braun. He can definitely move for a big guy. Theory, again, super athlete. One of his greatest things for me about him is his ability to sell. He's something else. I really do think he's the future. Like the way Cody Rhodes is now, how he kind of, when I say he sucked, I don't mean because he wasn't talented. I mean by the way he was booked. It wasn't that great at all compared to his run now. Oh my sweet pineapple. I feel like Austin Theory's going to go through the same thing. It's just unbelievable, this guy. So yeah, maybe I'm just saying it felt like a squash match because what I'm saying is it was too short, and I wish I could actually have seen a little bit more from these two. Not that all matches always have to be 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes long. I get that. I'm just sharing of all the matches we had. This is one I wish had an extra 3 or 4 minutes to it. We had the Kevin Owens in-car promo. No, that's not it there for sure. Basically, he wants Nick Aldis in the ring alone, doesn't want any security, any of that bullshit, right? Then Chelsea Green had an appreciation ceremony. So this was weird. I say weird, not like bad weird, just weird. So she's in the ring. She did a promo, something that, no offense, you don't, at least I don't recall seeing too often. And she went on to be like, if it wasn't for this very special person, I thought she was going to say Piper Niven. And then she just says herself, which goes with the character, right? Like she's doing such a great job at the role she's been giving for the persona that she's been told to show off. And Piper's been great too. Really, really enjoy them. The promo was a little interesting with Mishin coming back out. And I say interesting because I've made it clear that I was glad that she was getting more screen time. And they seem to definitely be pushing her. I'm just wondering what's next. Does this mean there's going to be a little feud here? A rematch? I really don't know. But it was weird, but not in a bad way for me. Crowd felt a little bit dead during her promo. I think maybe they were just tired or caught off guard, but a lot of people have been saying, oh, it's because the whole thing was trash. No, I wouldn't go that far. Me personally, I wouldn't. At one point, well, not at one point, at this point, as this very point, Pretty Deadly accuses Los Garza, which is Humberto and Angel, of having attacked the Street Profits, making them lose out on their opportunity to go up against the tag team champions. Montez Ford flip over the top rope and landing on his feet, that thing that he does during the match there, because then they got pissed off and said, yeah, you want some of this? So they took it out to the ring. It's also really interesting because Pretty Deadly is considered a heel team. So is Los Garza. Why would you throw them under the bus? I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, why not? Because it was DIY that was attacked him, and then that's what ended up. That's what Apollo Crews ended up saying later to B-Fab and Street Profits, saying you were played. It was actually DIY, which would make a lot of sense because then they were able to insert themselves into the match, which is the same kind of logic that we're now allegedly using for not Bianca, Naomi with Bianca, right? And when you think about that flip too, I want to go on about that. That's a big height, and I've done some pretty big jumps myself. Your ankles, knee pressure, like the way you land, you've got to do that right, or you can seriously fuck yourself like you have no idea. That is a pretty big deal. It's one thing to like jump over, land on a bunch of people, and then they help break your fall because they're catching you. It's another thing when you just straight up just flip over the top rope and land on your feet from that height. I don't know the height, but it's a good, I don't want to speculate, but it's a good close to 10 feet, I want to say, easily. It's just, to me, that's more impressive than you may realize, that move. Sami Zayn versus Carmelo Hayes ends in a no contest, as it says here, because of the disqualification. The Bloodline came out to smash Sammy. Strowman comes out to help. Even Strowman got smashed. What I don't understand is why it ended up in a no con. Oh, I see. No. Kind of confusing. Whoever gets attacked, the opposite person gets the DQ. So if Sami Zayn got attacked, then unfortunately, Sami Zayn would then win by DQ. Whatever. Match was nice. Like I said, these two have good moves. Can't stand Carmelo Hayes, his persona. I like him. I don't like his persona. I just don't like it. I think I would much more appreciate him as a face, me personally, or just have a different kind of a character. But he is definitely really talented. Sami Zayn, of course, being a veteran in the business, it's crazy, again, some of the moves that he can do. Very, very precise. You could tell he's definitely worked on his craft, as have people like, again, Logan Paul. To this day still amaze me. Somebody that I used to hate with a passion that burnt brighter than 1,000 suns. And now I'm just like, wow, really, really like him as a performer. Yeah, so Sami Zayn sorry, I'm really tired. It was a long night. Sami Zayn versus Carmelo, both. Yeah. Yeah, so Solo is who ended up coming out with the Bloodline. Yeah, I think I've already said that. Yes, I did. And that's where, again, lately people are getting attacked and oddball people are coming out to the rescue. Like yesterday when I covered Raw, I forget who it was, and then the War Raiders came out and it was like, where's Damian Priest? I think Jey Uso was getting attacked. I was just like, what the hell? Or Damian Priest was getting attacked. Where's Jey Uso or whatever? And it was just like the people you're hoping or expecting to come out, they're not coming out. Someone completely different. And kind of sucks. Oh, and my comment I wanted to make on this match again, too. And I know I repeat myself. I'm going to repeat the same verbal diarrhea every time the same situation comes, because clearly it shows that my stance hasn't changed. The goddamn security and the refs. Why do they all look like little people that weigh like 140 pounds soaking wet? Get some actual capable looking people in there. I mean, Orlando Jordan. Is that his name? Or I'm mixing him up with somebody else. No, the one that was supposed to be Kurt Angle's son. He ended up getting a neck injury and he had to retire, but he works backstage as a WWE official, and that's really cool. But I just wish they had some more capable people. It really drives me nuts, but whatever. Little pipsqueaks, what can you do? And then the closing. Oh yeah, there it is. I should have probably just scrolled down. And then here, Kevin Owens came out. Oh, that's right. See, it's a good thing I got my notes. While Sammy's getting his ass handed to him, right at the last second, all of a sudden, Kevin Owens comes out. They haven't crossed paths yet. You would have thought Kevin Owens would have come to help. Well, of course he wouldn't come out to help, but yeah. Really wild stuff there. Perfect timing, I guess you could say. Talked to Nick Aldis about returning the belt. Nick said it's under no negotiations. Kevin Owens basically saying, you know what? You want this belt back? Then give me what's rightfully mine. An opportunity at that championship again. So now he wants the championship match. Before he didn't want it. Now he wants it. Which is fine. Going to be in a ladder match because that's what Cody suggested to Nick Aldis. But the Royal Rumble ladder match, both titles are going to be up. And whoever grabs them is going to be the rightful winner. Here's the thing, though. It's already been allegedly leaked that Cody's going to face potentially The Rock for the title, which means if that's the case, Kevin Owens isn't winning. You would have Kevin Owens against The Rock, and there's no story there. So that's why sometimes, as much as I want Kevin to win, as much as I want Cody to retain, it's very difficult. And sometimes, or rather, it could be easy sometimes just be, oh yeah, just give it to Kevin. He owns it. This makes sense. Give it to him. He doesn't have to have it for, 3 years, but he can have it for a good couple of months. He hasn't won a championship in about a decade, blah, blah, blah. But you have to think about where that fits in the story. Potentially it could. He's got a long history with Roman Reigns, right? So this could be like retribution. Yeah, I'd have to give that more thought. I don't know from a business perspective what would make more sense, honestly, as to who should be the next person to dethrone him. Then there's rumors that John Cena is going to potentially face Cody. That could potentially work, but then is John Cena going to win? I'm tired of always having him as a stepping stone like Natalya, where he always loses to put other people over. You overdo it, you end up looking like a jobber. So if John Cena wins, then what? John Cena wins at Mania? What, drops the belt to The Rock at SummerSlam or Survivor Series? Because his last match, John Cena's last match, is going to be in December. This is his actual, like, last year ever wrestling. Give him the final hurrah. He could be a 17-time champion. I think he deserves that. He could beat Ric Flair. It'd be a big deal. I just don't know how you'd go about that. You see, there's too many angles again. Oh, do we let Kevin win? But then what about Randy Orton? What about Kevin Owens, Randy Orton? What about The Rock? Like, there's John, like, it's mind-boggling. It's draining in a good way, because I don't know. I almost don't even know what I would selfishly want to see. I just don't, which is why I just kind of like lay back and just let it happen. And oh shit, sometimes I'll like some decisions, sometimes I won't, but in the end, I'm entertained. I always get something out of every show, however big or small that may be. And I just love being a wrestling fan. Like I said, I equally love AEW, TNA, whatever other promotions are out there. I like them all. I just don't have time to always be watching all of them. Anyhow, this video is now twice as long as the official recap, which is pathetic. Oh well, whatever. Thumbs up as always. If you like the video, it does greatly help support the channel with that algorithm and trying to make me a little bit more relevant in search results, so they say. And trying to make me more relevant. You didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. I'll bend it in half. It's coming. And this time it's the glove. He's been wearing the glove a lot more lately. You're getting a Solo Sikoan spike right where the sun don't shine with the glove on. And if you want to subscribe, I mean, naturally that would be great. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. And boy, oh boy, I cannot wait till next week. Because if you think this was a long video, there's going to be more wrestling to talk about. The next SmackDown, like I said, is going to be 3 hours, but the next Raw is not yet. So it's still on this channel. What are we? This Saturday the 20th? Yeah. Sorry. There's one more wrestling event that's not 3 hours. That's going to be Raw coming up in a couple of days. Yes. And that'll be the last one. And then everything moving forward is probably, we'll see, 3 hours each. It's going to be pretty wild, but I'm not complaining. Take care, and until next time, bye for now.